Did I take electrolytes during my fast? This was a huge fail for me. On my 21-day fast, I did not take any electrolytes. I have never taken anything on any of my fasts. All I've ever done is drink water. In the future, I will always take electrolytes when I do a fast. If I'm doing a prolonged fast, more than 3 days, I am going to take electrolytes. From the research I've done and the videos I've watched, the dangerous part of fasting for most healthy people is going to be the depletion of minerals in your body. And this can cause a cascade of events that can cause you to actually have a heart attack. It can cause you to die. To do a prolonged fast safely, you just want to take electrolytes. It also makes the fast easier. It reduces the side effects and the discomfort of the fasting experience. Some of the things that I experienced because I didn't take the electrolytes on that fast, I had an acidic, sour taste in my mouth all the time. It felt like my mouth was irritated and toxic. And I think that was a result of having no minerals in my body. I could not hold water. Anytime I drank water, it would immediately pass through me within 20 minutes. And so I was always thirsty. My remedy for that is I drank water all the time. I had water with me everywhere I went, and I sipped on water all the time. Often I would just get a big glass of ice water and drink the whole glass. So I kept water going through my system. My cells were not absorbing the water and holding it. So looking back, I wish I would have. It just made the fast more difficult for me. How do you properly supplement electrolytes when doing a prolonged fast? So one easy way, I saw this in a YouTube video. I'll put a link to the video that I watched on this, but this is one I watched. It's a super easy way to get the main electrolytes that you need during your fast. You do a ½ teaspoon of no salt. No salt is a salt substitute, and the brand is No Salt, but it is just potassium. And you want to take a tablespoon of baking soda. That is your sodium. And you put that in 1 liter of water, and you drink that once every day. You can split it up, put it in 2 shaker cups, but that will keep your body having the 2 main electrolytes that you need to make the fast safer. Another way you can do it is just buy an electrolyte supplement, but make sure it has no calories and no artificial sweetener. You don't want any artificial sweetener, even if it has very little or no calories. It can mess with your blood sugar. So you don't want to take in any really sweet flavors, even if it's from an artificial sugar when you're fasting. I like to take in no flavor. I feel like if I take in anything with very much flavor, it challenges me mentally when I'm on my fast. So I avoid anything that has any kind of flavor. There's 4 electrolytes you want to get: potassium, magnesium, calcium, and sodium. If you get an electrolyte powder, it's gonna have all of the electrolytes you need, not just sodium and potassium. So that's one of the benefits of getting an electrolyte powder. They're pretty cheap usually, so that's another option. How much water did I drink on my fast? My goal was to drink 1 gallon a day. Like I kind of had a minimum. I wanted to drink 1 gallon of water a day. Because I was thirsty all the time, I got up every morning and drank a huge glass of water to start my day. And then at the end of my day, I would drink a glass of water. And throughout my day, whenever I felt an empty feeling in my body, like the physical hunger went away after about 3 or 4 days, but every once in a while I would feel like mentally hungry, and I would drink a big glass of water to make my stomach feel full. So I was drinking probably at more than 1 gallon every day, but the experts recommend 2 to 3 liters of water a day when you're fasting. And if you're a bigger person, you probably need a little bit more, closer to 1 gallon. And if you're a smaller person, you probably can get away with a little bit less. There's no negative aspect to drinking a lot of water on your fast. All the water is just going to pass through you. There's no benefit to drinking excess water. The only negative thing that I experienced by drinking a lot of water was I had to use the bathroom more. I also felt like on my fast, I was detoxing and I was flushing my body out of impurities. So when I would imagine myself healing, I'm drinking all this water, I'm going to the bathroom more often than I normally would, probably 3 to 4 times more frequently than I normally would go to the bathroom. and it was like it was flushing my body out of all the toxins and impurities that had been building up over my lifetime. Can you drink caffeine on your fast? The answer is drinking caffeine does not break your fast. You can drink caffeine on your fast. A lot of people will do what they call dirty fasting, and that's where they fast with caffeine. So they'll fast with coffee in the morning or tea. The thing that you want to avoid is any kind of sweetener, including artificial sweeteners. So if you're going to drink coffee, you want to just drink black coffee. I thought of my fast as an opportunity to take a break from caffeine. You're going to have something on your fast that you probably cannot even imagine, but it's like a weird type of energy that you don't need caffeine, and you feel almost hyper. You feel mentally hyper, mentally energetic. Physically, everything's a little bit slower pace and you're kind of like chill in everything you do. But your brain is operating at twice its normal speed. So it's just I felt like if I drank caffeine when I was in my fasted state, it would have been too much. It would have been on top of the energy that I already had. It probably would have made me feel gross or queasy, or I didn't like the thought of it. But when I intermittent fast, I get up in the morning and I drink coffee, and then I go all day and I don't have until I break my fast at the end of the night, like 5 or 6. And that works perfect for me. When you're prolonged fasting, I use that to take a break from caffeine. But I love my caffeine. So as soon as I finished my fast, I went like 3 days to get, of acclimating back to food. And then I started back drinking coffee again. So it's not like I quit caffeine for good, but it is a good opportunity to take a break. And I'll bet you might be surprised. You're going to have a weird kind of energy that you can't even imagine if you've never fasted before. And that might work for you, replacing caffeine during the time that you're on your fast. The Biggest Loser theory. Did you ever watch the television show The Biggest Loser? They would bring out the contestants on the very first episode, and they would put them in spandex outfits with all their fat hanging out. And really, they were making them look the worst that they could possibly look. And they would put them on a scale on national television in front of all their friends and family, millions of people. They would spend a whole episode beating them up about how bad they had been, about how unhealthy they were, about what diseases they had because of their overeating. They would make them confess all of their bad eating habits, and they'd show video of them binge eating. I think that experience is a powerful experience to hold you accountable. A lot of those contestants had tried to lose weight their whole lives and never had any success. Or if they did lose some weight, they always gained it back plus more. And yet on the show, many of them would achieve their goals. Even if they didn't make it very far in the show, they would show their progress pictures later on at the end of the show, and they would have lost a ton of weight on their own. There's something about confessing to the world how bad you've been and just humiliating yourself in front of all the people in front of as many people as you can, and saying that is the end of that era of my life, and now I'm going to start something new, and I'm never going back there again. Because once you claim that to the world, if you go back to that again, you have to admit to the world that no matter how hard you tried, you still fell into your rut. You still went back to your old ways. Versus when you don't proclaim anything to the world, you don't tell your family and friends, you just say to yourself, I'm going to try to lose a little weight. There is no accountability. There's no Biggest Loser factor to hold you accountable. If you don't do it, then you might feel a little guilty, but you don't have to go on national television and confess to everyone that you just failed and that you've gained more weight. Then you just gave up, and then the host is going to ask you, well, what happened? Where did you go wrong? And you're just going to be like, I just was too lazy. I just quit. I just really wanted to binge eat, so decided to just eat and drink beer instead of getting my perfect body. How could a normal person, how could I capture a little bit of that accountability? When I started my YouTube channel and I did my first transformation video, I had to make a follow-up video. I had in my mind, I was gonna make a follow-up video. I made the video saying, here's what I'm gonna do. And then 3 months later, 6 months later, a year later, I had to make follow-up videos where I was gonna tell the world through YouTube what I had done, if I had accomplished my goal or if I quit and failed. There were many times that I wanted to go off my diet or skip my workouts. And in the back of my mind, I would be thinking about making that progress video and having to show where I slipped off my diet and didn't get back on, or having to show I didn't make any gains the last 3 months because of this or this. And that was a little push in the right direction. It was an added nudge to keep me going in the right direction. And when you're on a transformation, you're trying to lose weight, change the shape of your body, get healthy, every little trick helps. Every little nudge in the right direction. You need to use every trick in the book to your advantage because everything's working against you. And so if that helps you, even if it's just telling your family, like my YouTube channel, it didn't have any followers at that time. So I was making these videos for no one really, just in the hopes that somebody might see them. But just proclaiming that where people could see it, just putting it out there so that the world could see those statements and what your plans were, flips a switch in your mind, and it makes you kind of operate on another level of accountability. So that is what I call the biggest loser factor. Let me know in the comments if you think there's anything to that, or if you've ever done anything like that and if it made a difference for you. I just beat Thrill of the Fight. I beat the final opponent on normal mode. It's 5 3-minute rounds, and I felt like he might have got me in the earlier rounds, but when I looked at the final score, I won every round. I knocked him down in the final round. I had the hardest push. In the 5th round, I was getting tired, and I did like 30 or 40 second push, maybe a full minute, where I was just nonstop punching, and it felt good. It was fun. So now I'm gonna start over at the beginning and fight every opponent on endurance mode. And then once I beat every opponent on endurance mode, then there's a higher level outclassed mode. I'll try that. But man, I love that game. The thing about Thrill of the Fight that is so much more fun than any other VR boxing game that I've tried so far is when you connect with a punch on your opponent, you get a good reaction in the graphics. You feel like you are actually controlling your VR boxer, and that what you hit has a good tactile response. And I feel like I'm better at blocking in Thrill of the Fight versus other boxing games. I don't feel like I'm effective at blocking at all. In Thrill of the Fight, I can block somewhat and survive. So this game also doesn't make you move around the ring as much as some of the other ones I've tried, where you can pretty much stay, the boxer will stay in front of you. Now you can move if you want to go around him and get an advantage, but if you're not trying to move too much, he kind of will stay in front of you and just move a little left and right, but he's not trying to circle around you and make you use all of your game space. That is so much fun. I am hyped that I was able to beat him, and so we'll see how endurance mode goes next cardio day. That's a wrap. Keep grinding, more cool stuff to come.